Hey everyone, this is Brian from Bear Bull Traders. It is Sunday, February 28th, and we've got tomorrow morning starting out a new month, March 1st, and we'll see what the month brings here. It's been a crazy week last week, and we had a pretty harsh sell-off right into the close on Friday, but looking at the futures right now here, we've got the Dow up over 200 points, S&P's up, the Nasdaq's up like 150 points. And even the Russell's showing some strength here. Some of the indexes or some of the commodities, let's take a look here. Oil's up a buck, nat gas up a bit, gold and silver looking pretty good right now. So what's driving this? Well, let's take a look at the treasuries here. You can see the treasuries kind of rolled over the yields, and we'll get into this in a minute, but it looks like we're finally getting a bit of a pullback after quite a run up here. So let's get into looking at the indexes. And we'll start with the TLT here. We usually do. This is the 20-year Treasury bond. You can see the price of the bond went up quite a bit. I had bought some options in the TLT just because it was so oversold and was looking for this bounce, and we did finally get it. And took the entry a little early. You never know when you're catching a falling knife here, but you can see here there's some pretty interesting volume on the Thursday, and then we had the big rebound on the Friday, which probably this was a good indicator that we were getting to a capitulation bottom on this. RSI, of course, was showing really oversold. Same with stochastics, really in the oversold territory as well. But you know, if you look at the stochastics, they were oversold back here, so you can't always rely on one indicator. So getting looks like we're going to get a bit of a follow through here, a bit more of a bounce. Whether it's a trend change, I'm not sure, but certainly getting some relief, and that's probably in part why the futures are up, because we're the yields are off again, at least the way it looks right now. So you can see here, we're still in a well-established uptrend on the interest rates, which I think was still going to be weighing on the markets no matter what we do tomorrow. You can see we're still in uptrend. We just got really extended from these moving averages here and really overbought. So still looking for a bit more of a correction, but still expecting the trend to continue higher unless we start to lose some of these moving averages. And that's the weekly, of course. You can see here we're looking still in a strong uptrend on the week. The Dow, you can see what happened here on Thursday. Had a big sell-off day, bit of an indecision day on Friday. Did close off the day pretty weak. A lot of selling kicked in right at the end of the day. Let's take a look at the weekly here. Again, we did end up on the week up a bit, just 0.5% or less. But you can see here that's almost on the verge of a reversing doji type candle there on volume too. So yeah, does not look that good in terms of continuation move. And again, the Dow, that was the transports, the Dow. Again, two big sell-off days here, right back down to this 50. So it looks like that's where we're going to bounce from. And volume picking up to the downside. So we'll see if tomorrow's bounce holds. That's going to be the interesting question on the Dow. And you can see here we did make a high last week, but well off that high and ended up down on the week by 1.8%. So again, pretty overbought and just pulling back here, doing some consolidation. And that's what I would expect here. We are sort of losing momentum a little bit. And you can see the stochastics are starting to roll over a bit here, maybe putting in a double top. Again, if the interest rates continue to move higher after this little consolidation, I would expect some weakness. And where you'll see a lot of weakness is going to be in the Qs. Technology does not do as well in a rising interest rate environment. And you can see here the Qs have really sold off their highs as interest rates started to pick up. and go past the 1%, got up into the 1.4, 1.5 range. You can see here volume really picked up on the cues in terms of selling. Stochastics really selling off, getting into an oversold condition. So we'll have a bit of a bounce day tomorrow for sure. And here we are on the week. We were down a big 5% on the week. Again, the cues taking the brunt of the punishment last week with the interest rates. And again, the spiders, again, they didn't perform very well either. Again, selling on volume. To me, I think there's been some technical damage here done on some of these indexes. We definitely have sort of shown that stocks don't always go up. Sometimes we have down weeks as well, and you can see here on the week, the SPY, we lost about 2.5%. And again, pretty extended from this moving average. We've been extended for quite a while, so we are getting a bit of a pullback here, and we got that pullback on volume as well. So index is starting to weaken up. I'm not expecting a huge pullback. We may get back to the 20 moving average on the SPY, but I don't, with all the stimulus and all the money floating around, I don't see any big pullbacks unless we really get a surge in the yields and start getting up into that 1.7, 1.8, 2% range, and then I think we're in some trouble. But again, the IWM put in a bit of a double top here, or a lower high, I should say. You can see here stochastic or RSI is break down to 50 and looks like it's heading lower. Again, a lot of this selling has been on volume, which this isn't mom and pop. These are probably in part institutions that are selling. So again, there's definitely some money coming out of the market as interest rates have gone up, and stochastics dropping below 50 there. MACD is well on its way down. So we'll see. We'll get a bit of a bounce here. But again, once we get back up to this 227 level, that'll be interesting to see if we can break through there, or if we end up making another lower high. IWM on the week, again, down almost 3% or over 3%. Again, we were pretty overbought here. You can see how extended we were from the moving averages. So not entirely surprising that we are at the very least getting a pullback here. The dollar had a big day on Friday, had a sort of a reversal day on Thursday and another big day on Friday. So again, I kind of felt like we were going to be stuck in a range here. And that's where I think that we're going to be trading. So there'll be resistance here, probably up around 24.60, 24.50, and we will see if we can break through there tomorrow. Didn't really look to see what the dollar was doing right now, but of course, as the dollar goes up, some of the commodity prices are going to be challenged, like gold and silver. Expect maybe some weakness in that area. Also, emerging markets if the dollar starts to strengthen. And Bitcoin, I always like to take a quick look at that. You can see here we've had a pretty significant pullback after that big charge up to 57,000 and change. So up on the day on Friday, but overall definitely a break in trend. You can see here we've lost the 20, trying to hold on to the 50, and we'll see what tomorrow brings with Bitcoin. Let's take a quick look at some stocks on watch. Again, ATNX still on my watch list. It looks like it's trying to hold here. I think there's a FDA decision coming on this one, so I'd have to be careful on that because any kind of disappointment is going to see this trading down. So something to keep an eye on, but I won't be taking a position until that type of news event gets disseminated out there in the market. OLN, I'm still looking at this one. It looks like we did this little breakout. Thursday, Friday, we had a pullback, and I'm going to be watching this one on Monday. It's going to be one of my watch stocks at top of the list. I'll be looking to see if we can continue to now break higher after we've done this breakout, pull back to the breakout level, which is a very typical pattern. But, if the stock can hold 30, I think we may end up starting to another trend upwards there. So I'll be watching OLN. PLTR is right down into an area where you'd expect to see some support. There was support here, support back here. So we do seem to be holding some support here at 2250. So I'll look at that. Watch out for PLTR at the open. It does tend to be very erratic until it settles out. RCII Rent-A-Center. This is kind of a recovery trade. This and sort of United Rentals is another one. It's really overbought, but on the RSI, but volume was great on both of these days when we had a big sell-off. RSI, or this RCII, just continues to look like it wants to go higher, but I look at taking an entry. Like I said, when you get a breakout, you always look for a check back. I'd be looking for a pullback to around maybe 54, 54.50. If we can get a 54.50 entry, that would be a nice little pullback before it maybe started to trend higher. Silver and gold, I'm just keeping an eye on. I don't have any positions in them. They've just been, you can see here, this is what we call a dog's breakfast in terms of a stock chart. It is trying to hold this 50 moving average, and it's we'll see what happens tomorrow, but there's definitely some strong resistance here for the stock to, or silver to go higher. Square has had a pretty significant pullback, and we've backed down into an area where he's had prior resistance, then the breakout, now support, now sort of that area of support again. So again, it looks like we're hooking up on RSI. Had a decent day Friday, and the only thing that concerns me is stochastics. Maybe we'll start to get a turn here and go higher. Square could be interesting as an options trade too. Twitter inside day, it's really extended from these moving averages. It's really overbought on the RSI. Yeah, so I'm not really sure. I'm just going to keep an eye on that. Might be a short trade, especially if we start to get weakness in the market again. And you has come all the way back to this prior level where it broke out from, checked back, and then went higher. So I'm looking again for it to hold 100. XLE, it's a little bit of a pullback. Maybe we'll get energy to kickstart it again here. And it certainly looks like the futures are indicating that. Same with the financials, getting a pullback here. And, if the interest rates continue to drop in the short term here, you can expect to get a pullback maybe to this moving average, 3150. Be looking to possibly take an entry there. And watch for the interest rates to start going back up, because interest rates go back up, financials do better. And XME, we had a pretty significant pullback after this nice pop, and sold out of that one and maybe looking to get back in it. And that's about it. So I hope everyone's had a good weekend and looking forward to our new trading month, March 1st, kicking things off. This is my book on Amazon, How to Swing Trade, if you haven't checked it out. And as always, we will be doing the pre-market show at 8:30 live on YouTube with Norm and Carlos, and then trading the market open at 9 o'clock. 9:30. Hope to see you all there, and have a great rest of the evening, what's left of it. Cheers, everybody.